NFL veteran with a new.
What up, everybody? It is a Monday edition of
Miller's Edge on the Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTBC. We are the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Good day. Hope you're doing well. Hope you had a very good weekend. A lot of things in sports to talk about, especially right there locally in Tuscaloosa, T-Town. We're going to get into a lot of good conversation about what's happening. We had the introduction of the new head football coach, and Caleb DeBoer. He's now in T-Town. He's working, trying to get his staff all settled. We'll talk about that, what that means, what that looks like, all that good stuff. So we got that to chime into on the program today. Of course, the biggest news or the biggest conversation, I should say, will come from T-Rob. What is that going to look like? Will he be in Alabama? Can they bring him back? Will he stay at the enemy over at Georgia with Kirby Smart? So we'll give you our thoughts on that as well during the course of the show. And if he's not the guy, then who? Because we all believe that is a big, big deal to talk about. We got NFL to talk about. The playoffs is on and popping right now. A lot of great games to get into that happened on yesterday. Games tonight, double games tonight here on Monday Night Football that we can talk about if you're in the mood. So we got a lot of stuff to do. And you know what's good about it, Christian Miller, who's in Tuscaloosa, Noah Haynes producing the show, guys, that we got an extra hour on the new Miller's Edge. We're so thankful. We're so blessed. Yes, we're gracious that many of you have been emailing, telling us on the phone you love the show, you want more. And the good folks there that run the station over off Schuyler Boulevard said, we agree. And here we are every day, 12 to 2. You can catch the Miller's Edge right here on your favorite Tide station, Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTBC every single day. And download that free app, if you will, please, Tide 100.9, and you can ask questions there. We love to use that as another format to engage with our people. We'll take your phone calls. 205-342-9904 is the number for the program. And then, of course, you can hit us up on all of our socials throughout the day. Even on YouTube, we have that up and rolling. Christian will tell you more about that, how if you're not in the area, if you want to look at us live, we're live. Hey, How you doing? On YouTube, so you can talk to us there. Noah's doing a great job handling that too as well. Let's take it down to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Boys, happy Monday to you. Hope you're doing well.
Oh, we're doing great, man. I'm fired up. I'm excited because I'll be honest, man, like you just mentioned, it's our new time, 12 to 2. We're so grateful for all of our listeners and supporters who've made this possible. We've gotten a lot of strong feedback, everybody wanting to hear more and more. We've brought it over to YouTube, doing our Miller's Edge Extra, but we've been, gracious enough to the folks at Tide 100.9 are gracious enough to extend our show, give us another hour, and we're just super excited for that. And as you can see, like you just mentioned, we also are live on our YouTube, so now we have a live stream where you can see us doing the radio show live, so you can check that out here. And I can see all your questions on YouTube as well, or you can type questions on the app. So we're going to be hitting it from all different angles, right? So if you want to leave questions here on our YouTube feed, you can do that. I'll try to get to them on the show as well. But just super excited for the growth and expansion that we have in store right now. And it's just a very exciting time right here for us at the Miller's Edge and all of you guys. So thank you so much for making all this possible. With that being said, you did nail it. There's a lot of rumors swirling, a lot of talk, and we're going to dive into that. Luckily, we have a lot more time to do that now. But first and foremost, I want to thank our presenting sponsor, the Good Feet Store. If you're in any type of pain, foot pain, knee pain, or back pain, head on over to the Good Feet Store. They helped me and my dad out tremendously. We played football for years. We deal with all types of aches and pains, but thanks to the Good Feet Store and those premium arch supports, they've got that covered. They're designed to eliminate and alleviate that pain, so go check them out. It's try before you buy. You've got nothing to lose. It's in Midtown Village, or you can always go to goodfeet.com to schedule an appointment. Again, that's Good Feet, improving the quality of people's lives 2 feet at a time. Man, this is exciting, man. I'm looking at our feed. We got everybody in here. We got Noah, and thank you to Noah. We got to say a big thank you to and shout out to Noah, our producer engineer, for helping us get this set up, man. He is awesome.
Good job, Noah.
Thank you.
I brought it to him on the spot. I said, look, man, I want to simultaneously cast our YouTube show. That way we have our YouTube family listen to the radio show, marry the two. And it's so far so good as fall. It's big thanks to Noah behind the glass. But that being said, man, where do we start, man? Because there's a lot to talk about.
Well, I got to give him a little bit more intro because, a new format here. We got an extra break during the course of the hour. But coming up in the second break, so you must know this, good friend of mine, SEC Network, ESPN, Roman Harper, former Alabama Crimson Tide safety, played the New Orleans Saints, long decade or so in the National Football League, will join us coming up here in the second break of the program, 12:20 Central Time. Will join us to talk about what's happening at Alabama, his thoughts on the new coach, DeBoer. So we'll hear from a guy that played at Alabama, covers the SEC, covers Alabama. We'll get his thoughts. So we'll hear from him coming up here in the second break of the program. Let's get right to it, guys. Let's talk real quick here about Travarius Robinson, because he is the lead story of our program today. Because everybody, I was on X. You guys on X put me to sleep last night. Christian texted me, I don't know, it must have been about 12:30, 1:30 my time. I woke up and I saw I had a text from him. First, I'm a little worried, but he's like, are you listening? And I'm like, yeah, I was listening to a Twitter feed, and all it was about was Travarius Robinson, T-Rob, as you would like to call him. Is he staying? Is he go? Multiple reports. I got reports he's met with DeBoer. He interviewed officially, I guess, for the job. I know he had already talked to DeBoer. I knew that already, but this was an official, I guess, interview to become the defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. Here's my thoughts, Christian, and I know we got to be quick on these points, but here's what he has to deal with. A couple of things. One, T-Rob is connected to Will Muschamp. Will Muschamp is going to be as whatever role it doesn't really matter because they play with the language, right? They play with it so people can get paid and do what they need to do. He still will be involved. But T-Rob is Will Muschamp's guy. He was with them at Florida. He was with them at Auburn. He was with them at South Carolina, which when I met him, and got to know him very well here. He is about relationships. And you heard me say about this the whole time. These things are deeper than money. They're deeper than a lot of other stuff. This is about relationships. So if he just says, hey, I love these kids, I got to go back to Alabama, what is he going to do to that relationship with Will Muschamp and Kirby Smart? He's going to a team that's probably going to be preseason ranked number one. That's won 2 national championships out of the last 3 years. That people are going to predict them to probably be the front runners to win it again. Your relationship, a guy that has taken care of you, brought you up through the ranks, so to speak. I'm telling you, in coaching and in this sport, right, those ties mean something. And that's the very thing to me that's going to keep him in Georgia. I had nothing official, but if I was a betting man, you best believe I'm saying T-Rob's not going anywhere because he understands Kirby's young. He's young. And he's got a long time. These are SEC people that he knows that he recruited with and against. So would it make sense for him to take Alabama's job? I understand what you're saying as a fan. That he can have all the responsibility. You bring in DJ Jerkin, I think that's right, Durkin, who has been the office coordinator at Ole Miss. He's been at A&M. He's been around, right? He was at Florida as well. So listen, man, if I'm T-Rob, I'm looking at the relationship, Christian, I'm going, hey, do I want to break this bond? Something that's going to carry me down the road in my SEC ties, this part of the country ties. I promise you that's what he's looking at. He's looking at that. He's looking at, hey, I don't want to break this because these are the dudes that gave me a chance. These are the dudes that brought me up. I know it's Alabama, but Nick Saban's not there no more. This is a new guy in DeBoer that I have no relationship prior. I have nothing to do with. So when you look at it from that standpoint, he's not going to break that bond, I don't think. Unless, point 2, money, money. It has to be enough money to say, you know what, for me to break this relationship, for me to give up on my old dogs, right, my old coaches, and say, hey, I'm going to leave y'all over here and I'm going to take this at Alabama, I better have some security, meaning I better have a lot of money sitting there because they probably not going to fool with me after this. And if you don't work out, bro, there's a possibility because the guy that takes the job of a GOAT, the probability of him succeeding is not very high. So if I take this job, I better have millions upon millions of security.
Right.
And if you're not willing to invest in me to that standpoint where if something goes awry and I'm good, I ain't taking this job. So therefore, I think T-Rob stays in Georgia and not Alabama. All these things getting so confusing now. Sure. I believe T-Rob stays where he's at in Georgia, in Athens, and say, man, thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, I agree. I think you hit everything, so I'm not going to add too much to that. But I think it makes sense, right? Yes, he did come back and interview for the job, but I think it's one of those things where I think Georgia was already pursuing him. Right. Coach Saban retires, and then unfortunately things moved so quickly that he had it lined up with Georgia, and they gave him a great offer. And unfortunately, I don't think we acted fast enough. And I know people are like, well, what do you mean? He only had 36 hours or so. When I say, look. That should have been one of the priorities off the rip, right? Like, hey, we're going to hire you. You've got to retain some of these guys that are invaluable to this program right now and to this roster in our recruiting. And unfortunately, I think Georgia they jumped it. And with that being said, I think even though 36 hours is not a lot of time, we didn't act fast enough. And to T-Rob, in this situation, I think you nailed it. You're talking about some long tenured relationships, right? That's hard to burn that bridge. And you said it. If you burn a bridge with Kirby and Muschamp, those guys over there, by kind of reneging on that's tough to do. So he's in a tough spot. But I agree with you. I do feel that more than likely he's going to stay put. That's what most of these reports are saying. It almost is like, dang, man, I hate that he came back to interview, because then it's like, man, we were excited like that there was some hope, but I think Georgia is going to match or go above and beyond anything that we would offer. If I'm being honest with you, I know other than the title. Now, clearly, we gave him, from my understanding, probably gave him a full defensive coordinator title. However, Georgia's probably just they're going to say, hey, it's going to say co-defensive coordinator, but we're going to give you the keys to this. We're going to up your pay here. They're going to do everything they can to keep him, because, look, man, the guy's a hell of a football coach, hell of a recruiter. They know how valuable he is to a coaching staff, to a team, in terms of being able to get guys, keep those guys around, because that's the type of coach he is. T-Rob is one of those guys. He's a father figure to players. He's funny. He's relatable. People just love him. They gravitate towards him. And Georgia knows that. We know that. I just wish that we were able to act just a little bit quicker, or give him some more security before he headed on that plane to Athens. But it is what it is at this point. You just gotta live with it for whatever it is. Like, you gotta live with guys that enter the portal. We'll talk about that as well. But I know we got to go ahead and hit break, because we got Roman Harper of ESPN coming up shortly. So we'll get his thoughts on a lot of this stuff too.
Well, you said it right. And I said last week, guys, my first order of business would have been for Kalen DeBoer, was to scout my staff and find out from Greg Byrne and Nick Saban and say, who is a must on your staff that I got to keep? Who is the guy that's been going out? Who is your Mr. Morgan of this team that's been getting these kids here? Where is that relationship? Who's that guy? And that's where he dropped his first ball. He didn't do that, and he waited too late, because Nick Saban would have said to him, you must, and I mean absolutely must, keep T-Rob and make him your coordinator, because he is the glue that's going to hold your locker room together. He is that glue that's going to keep guys from bolting, right? And he didn't do that, so therefore I think he waited too late. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, I don't think it was just him either, though. I honestly think it was even more so. I'm putting it on Greg Byrne, but I think collectively they should have.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because he's got a lot of moving pieces as well. It's hard for Kalen DeBoer to say, hey, I need to keep this guy after he's moving his family, getting on a plane.
You're taking this kind of job when you don't know nobody? You better learn what you need to do.
He did, but I'm just saying, I don't think he realized how swiftly he had to move. So I'm not going to put as much on him. I would say more so the people that were around here probably should have told him in those meetings, hey, man, when we hire you, this guy needs to be around. That's all I'm saying.
All right. We got to hit a break. Hello to John Jones, a good friend who's watching us and listening to the show right here in Columbia, South Carolina. Well, it's Lexington, South Carolina, from the Medora room. My good friends over at Michigan West. I hope you're doing well. Appreciate you watching the Miller's Edge from right here in Lexington, South Carolina. And we're at a timeout. We come back from the break. We'll hear from former Alabama Crimson Tide safety NFL Roman Harper of the SEC Network /ESPN p.m. And we'll get his thoughts about the hire, just about what's happening in Tuscaloosa. That's all coming up right here on the Miller's Edge. It's a Monday edition. Winter Tide 100.9, 1230 a.m. WTBC. We'll be back in a moment.
Here's a Town Square Media winter weather update, seeing a winter weather advisory and also a hard freeze warning that kicks in tonight.
Appreciate you guys on here. We're on commercial break. We'll let some of those commercials run, but and I'm gonna try to get to some of these comments on the show as well. We got to try to work with here. We got callers lined up. We got guests lined up. So this is our first time, as you guys know, doing this together at the same time. But appreciate everybody in here hanging out with us. Let us know where you're listening from or watching from. And like I said, I'm gonna do my best to make sure I get you guys. JD, I see the super chat. I definitely want to acknowledge it here. So thank you so much for the $19.99 super chat. But I'll definitely mention it on there too. I think that'd be cool. But Roll Tide to you, brother. Thank you for all your support, all your continued support. And I'm just glad that we can continue to keep expanding, keep growing. But again, this is all thanks to you guys, all your support on YouTube, on our radio show. You guys are making this possible. So let's keep growing. Share this. Make sure you guys like the video, comment where you're from, what your thoughts are on what we're talking about. And just know we're going to keep pumping out content for you guys because that's what it's about, man. We enjoy doing this, have a good time hanging out with you guys and trying to keep this thing growing. So thank you guys so much for all your support. See if I can get to some of these comments while we're on commercial break. Okay, we got Mark from Hartselle, Alabama. Roll Tide. Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, I saw we had another receiver decommit. We'll see how that ends up turning out. I think these guys just have to get on campus and meet Coach DeBoer, see what he has to offer, let him, lay out his vision, his plan. And I think he'll win some of these guys back over. I mean, again, from what I know about him, he's a solid dude. All right, cool. All right, we got 30 seconds, folks, before we get back on here. So I'm going to get ready to get back on the show. But again, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us. We got Roman Harper coming up, so make sure you guys stay tuned. Stay locked in with us. It's going to be good coming up right here. Appreciate it, guys.
I do played for Alabama. You see him all over, where it just means more the SEC network. Roman Harper is my guest on the edge. Roman, happy Monday, brother.
I think we might be working to still get Roman tuned in, so we'll work on that.
We had about that, but go ahead.
Is he up there, Noah?
This is live video is best. 205-342-9914. Don't lose that number because we will take some calls here in just a moment. We're going to let Noah get Roman up again.
I've got Noah doing a million things at once. So
in the National Football League, we're doing something new too.
You guys,
Roman, are you there?
okay, yeah. I'm hearing you guys.
Okay, good. I gave you such the amazing introduction. I talked about
I heard it.
You heard that? Okay, as long as I heard it, bro. As long as I did you the service, as long as I did right by you, that's all that matters.
I'm doing good, man. Just sitting here, my wife is coaching up my kids in basketball. I mean, she's a Tiger mom, so she actually just elbowed me and said, like, this is how you should do stuff. So you're trying to survive the car ride.
Listen, so you stick to the football. Mom does the basketball with the kids. I would have been different because I was a two-sport athlete.
Here we go.
So I had my head.
Here it comes.
I knew it was coming at some
Oh,
point.
yeah, you know it's coming. He's got to start talking about all his many talents, Roman. It's coming at some point.
Roman, I'm an old head. You better around me, man. You know how I roll. But listen, man, let's
No,
get ready.
I've been in that room when it was like you, Kelsey, all the other. Oh my God! I just
Chris,
felt like
Chris don't even understand all the stories, right?
Yeah, it was 3 a.m. I was like, I got to go. They were just starting up. They were still rolling.
Oh, I'm not surprised. I'm not
That's for
shocked.
sure, bro. That's not even a lie, bro. You get the celeb golf events, and we all old heads hanging out, getting beside a fire, fire pit, cigar, and it's like, here we go. And you know there's gonna be some truth, some story, but a bunch of lies. That's for sure. All right, man. Listen, I'm just be real clear. What was your thoughts on the hire with Alabama? I know you was tuned in. You guys covered it a lot. What was your overall thought?
So, number one, I wanted them to promote from within. I just, as I was going back to research, I was sitting up there with Paul Feinbaum, spending time with him, and a couple different TV shows, and I don't know if anybody's ever it's never worked with replacing coach. So it's just the odds are not in your favor. And the only time I've seen them kind of work in the past is when they promoted from within. Now, I was looking at T-Rob, I was looking at a couple other guys, but I thought that's the direction where, the success rate in this was not going to be high anyway. So, but from what I've noticed or studied, hire from within is usually the best way that they've got it right measurably. The time that it's actually been somewhat successful. And none of them been truly successful because all the coaches are gone within 3 or 4 years, besides Tommy Osborne in Nebraska, the Miami days in the 80s. And John Wooden, I think his successor, took him to the Final Four and then lost in the second round in the tournament, and then they fired him. So it's been really hard to do. And so, but the thing was, I didn't think Kalen DeBoer was even on the menu. So knowing that his success, he's a great coach, the X's and O's, all these things are going to be good. But for me, the only question mark is, can he recruit Alabama and in the South? Because we all know it doesn't matter about your X's and O's if you don't have the Jimmys and Joes to run it. And if you're behind in recruiting in the SEC, you ain't going to win. I don't see anybody that loses in recruiting rankings and then still win at a high rate. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah, and that's why we had been adamant on retaining a guy like T-Rob Travaris Robinson, because not only is he a great football coach, but we know he excels in recruiting, and not just recruiting, but recruiting this locker room right now, right? Because we're seeing a lot of guys hit the portal. They're not necessarily familiar with Coach DeBoer and his staff, so we thought that was pretty important. Unfortunately, it looked like he got away. Now there's some rumblings that he interviewed for the DC job. We'll see where that goes, but I mean, what are your thoughts there? If they don't land T-Rob to come back as defensive coordinator, do you have any idea on what direction they might go as the defensive coordinator for the University of Alabama? Because I think that's going to be huge. We know Washington has, good offense. They're known for their offense and their philosophies of bringing in Grubb and those guys, but defensively they've struggled. And if they don't get T-Rob, then who, Roman?
Dude, that's the $1 million question. I'm looking forward to trying to hear it out because I don't know myself. That's why I let off of what I said. I think it's that important. And you can't. You already lost Isaiah Bond. Look, you said it's a business decision. I mean, the business is a Lamborghini. I ain't mad at him. But you can't lose a kid like you can't lose a kid like Caleb Downs. You already stole him from the University of Georgia. You can't let him go back. And so you got impact players at young ages. And we already know Alabama's roster naturally is already thin because the best players only stay 3 years. So, and then you invite into transfer portal and all the other things. So you're not going to have a very deep roster. That's understandable. But you got to be able to get some of these other things right. And the guys that you got that impact your team, you got to get them to stay because they're your future leaders. And you don't have enough time to recruit again. And so it's just going to be really, really tough to do that. I think the next hire, the DC hire, will be big. And it's going to dictate who stays, who goes, because they all have 30 days to make up their decision whether they want to go or not. So it's really, really important to get this next move right. I think Caleb DeBoer understands that. And I think they need as many hands on deck to be able to recruit the South as possible because we already saw one of the 5-star wide receivers that was going to sign in the next signing class, the one that reclassified up. he just decommitted. And then you saw another wide receiver from the next year's class decommitted. And the biggest difference, Christian, from when I was playing and when you were playing and when these kids are now is that, I chose Alabama because of Alabama, the history, the legacy, all the great. These young men, they choose Alabama to go play for Nick Saban, and Nick Saban's not there anymore.
Right.
So why am I going to Alabama at this point when I'm still getting offers from everywhere?
Yeah, and that's what I'm glad you're saying this, from it, because I've been saying this, and I want people to understand I'm not, just like you. That's why I can appreciate we're not going to be, I hate to say it like this, but fanboy reporters and covering the team, right? We tell it from what we see and what we know, and they want to tell you based on what their heart feels. We telling you the real, because if you don't have those relationships, and I talked about recruiting, but he recruited. Look, he went to the national championship. That's a whole different area. But the reality is, he didn't win the national championship. And and when you talk about their defense, they gave up 300 plus yards rushing the football. They lost the line of scrimmage even with this Joe Moore award-winning offensive line. So it's championship or bust at Alabama. It's not 9 to 12, 9, 10, 11 wins and maybe make the playoffs. But if you won and done, that's not good enough. So how can he change, I think, this fan base thinking? Because Nick isn't there. This is a new regime. This is a new era. They have to learn to move on from that.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. They're not going to want to move on. And we got to be honest. Alabama lost 2 games, two out of the last 3 years, and the freaking sky was falling. And that was under Nick Saban. You know what I mean? Like, let's not forget who we are as fans of Alabama. That's who they are. That is the standard. And Pastor Corey Miller right here, I mean, he's all in on Bama. And he didn't even go there, but he's all in.
Right.
He's all in. And he's been all in for years now. And so this is what you've done. This is what you've created and built. And so how does this legacy continue to stay at the highest level? I don't know if it does, but we'll see how everybody says they're going to be good. It's the same way my wife's like, I'm sorry, I'll change this or do that. And it doesn't change. I mean, we'll see what happens when we go through the moment. I know words are easy, but actions what really matter. It's going to be interesting to see. He's going to have his struggles. But I'm really looking forward to meeting this man. He's been successful at all levels. And you got to give him time on task. And it's going to be really, really interesting because the rosters have to fit too. What is he going to try and do offensively, defensively, and does it fit the roster that Alabama has constructed under Nick Saban the last couple of years? I do not know that. All that's waiting to be seen. But it's really, really interesting because there's going to be a lot of moving parts in today's college football.
Yeah, no, there really is. And I'll say I was at the, his press conference, and I didn't get to personally speak to him. He was being pulled, left, right, north, and south. But, he seems like a genuine guy. Obviously, he's a good football coach. You said it. He wins on all levels. So I'm excited. But we all know, like y'all both said, the standard here is championship or bust. And I hate this for him because we all know with these guys leaving, that makes it even harder to win immediately. And so he's got to really hit the ground running because let's face it, if he's not winning in the first couple years to a degree that we're expecting, things can get a little ugly around here. We know the standard that's been set here. So I'm hoping, that he's able to excel in this job, but it's definitely not going to be easy. Real quick, Roman, I just want to ask you, and I know we don't have a magic crystal ball, but what are your thoughts if you had to predict this first season with Alabama under Coach DeBoer? How do you see it going? What do you think this? Because they opened the SEC play with Georgia at home. You go on the road. I think you go to Oklahoma. So, I mean, there's some difficult games here. I mean, what would you predict the record to be this season?
For me, it's all about a race to 10 wins. If they can get 10 wins, I think it's a successful season. 10 wins in the SEC might give you a chance in the playoffs.
Exactly.
And so those are the things, the check marks that you got to win. And we'll see. And, it's going to be the first test versus Georgia. I can't wait to see what happens. Win or lose.
Yeah.
It's going to be smoke in the city. I mean, I have no idea what's going to happen. I just don't know. I don't know what this Alabama team is going to look like. I don't know what Georgia's team is going to look like next year. College continues to change year after year. I'm really excited just in the fact that, I know how good of a coach he is. And the fact that he's excited to have to replace Nick Saban. Nick Saban's going to have a little office somewhere in the stadium. Just everything's going to look and feel just a little bit differently. And I applaud Greg Byrne, the AD, because, this is a tough decision. And like, just being honest, I texted him. I said, "Dude, you're not gonna be able to get this right. Like, I just don't see how you get it right. I just can't imagine it. And like, I don't. And this is his first football hire. And so when you're at a football school, you get to just float on the radar. And I talk to him all the time, and I'm like, "How are you doing?" He's like, "Dude, I'm on top of the world. I'm at a football school, and I got the best coach in college football history. Like, how can I complain?" And so now he might have to complain a little bit here and there. So we'll see how it goes. I think it's a race to 10 wins. You got to get there first. And if you can get 10 wins, the season's still going, but it's going to be tough. And I want to see how this team looks, feels under this new regime. And, of course, like you said, Christian, they have got to nail down the DC in the next really soon. I'm not going to put a time limit on it, but really soon. I think by the time
we get off the show, I think I'm about to.
Yeah, I agree. I was going to say 48 hours. But it needs to happen. And the vultures are out. The vultures are out. They are trying to pick and purge off this roster because they all know you can do it. And they're not going to be the coaches doing it. It's going to be other players and them people reaching back to the high school coaches to get in touch with players.
I call it shark-infested waters here in the Southeast, and people don't know how hard it is. I mean, and everything that goes on with recruiting here, man. It's going to be tough. We definitely pulling for him. Like you said, I'm a South Carolina alum in the Hall of Fame here at the University of South Carolina, but I pull for Bama all the time, you know. So, but it's like, man, I have to tell the truth. I'm a little nervous. I'm a little nervous about recruiting. I'm a little nervous about the defense. But real quick before we let you go, okay, I heard you say, you know, the whole Lambeau thing that you don't blame Isaiah Bond. I did a post yesterday on our Mills Edge Extra on YouTube that fans need to get off these kids and stop, you know, DMing them and all this when they're leaving. And I agree with that. But if you were playing right now, would it be about the money? Because I know you probably grew up like me, right? We have a lot of loose nickels laying around. And if somebody's putting some cash in your face, do you entertain it? Or do you say, I'm loyal to the logo?
Well, like I said, I mean, most of these kids came to Alabama not for the logo. They came for Nick Saban. So that's got to be understanding what they chose to go there for. And you're right. I didn't grow with a lot of money. I think that's also the downfall of a lot of these kids is because a lot of the kids didn't grow money, their parents ain't got a lot of money. So new money is a little bit different than old money. And it spends differently. And it doesn't really make that big of a deal, but they're excited about the deal. So they're going to take the money more often than not. And so I think the college money is so much smaller than the big time money. And also what Alabama, once you graduate, what they're able to do for you. So those are the things that I try and focus on. I would tell my kids, focus on who's going to make you the best version of yourself, and everything else will take care of itself. So that's my answer. But the Lambeau is nice. I ain't mad. I am not mad.
You gotta give it back, though, bro. You don't make sure you gotta give it back. Hand over the keys.
Hey, it's fine. I don't want to pay for the insurance anyway.
You said something then. You said something then.
Oil change is like $12,000 in the Lamborghini. I don't want that. I do not want the car.
You think like me, Roman. We think the same right there. The car is nice, but I don't want everything that comes with it.
I don't know if they got property taxes in Texas, but all that stuff adds up, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, that's my man, Roman Harper, man. We appreciate you so much. The SEC Network, former Tide, safety, Panthers, Saints. Man's got it going on, but his wife is a real baller in the house because she's teaching basketball. So we appreciate you, man.
On it, too. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it, man. I can't wait to see y'all soon. Y'all be good anytime.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
My friend. There he is, Roman. Oh, great insight. That's why I love having guests like you because we get it from where I'm coming from, where Christian comes from a lot. Quick time out. Don't forget to talk about UC Store, America's arts expert. Give our big time village be exclusive. Check out Douglas and the gang that take care of you. They let you try before you buy. And if you need to relax, nice day to be on the porch or get into the product so we get from Reagan and Allmar. Tomorrow, 27036th Street. He'll take care of you. Best flat screens, best producer climbers. You're in the drink, have a couple pops. We got the bourbon in town. Yeah, they call it pops. We call that New York pops having a drink.
I'm from South Carolina, man. Come on, pops.
I lived in New York, so.
Brother. I know you did not just say that. Pops.
Oh, weird.
Really, you getting confused with their name. Hey, we need to. It's so funny with. No, we do need to hit the phone lines when we come back.
Okay, now let me say that it's down in the country. So, Coach, here's what you need to say when you come down here from the West Coast. Go, man, if you need to see them drinks, go over that dollar and cigar and get a couple drinks.
Soda.
That good? That sound better?
He needed to learn about some grits, some nice grits.
You know that real Taiwan is coming out. They don't have Alabama.
Hey, Jen, I just stopped in to say hello. Oh my gosh, look how busy it is in here. How did you get all these comments?
I muted the commercial, so if you want to talk to the chat while we're in commercial break, you can. JD, I didn't forget about your super chat. I'm gonna mention it on the air, but again, I know I mentioned last break, but again, thank you so much for the 1999 super chat. Always appreciate your support. Hope you guys enjoyed that Roman Harper interview, man. That was awesome. Roman always is great, man. He knows his stuff and great friend of ours.
I was
I got you unmuted, by the way. Let's see what else we got in these comments. What's Hey Alabama? I think they're mentioning Yay Alabama, the collective program, High Power. Let's see what else. Willie's in here. Shout out to Christian and Corey, the Miller's Edge, Roll Tide. Willie, what's up, man? Roll Tide. Appreciate you hanging out with us. Hope you guys enjoy this new setup, man, because now we can just cast the radio show right on our YouTube channel. You guys can see us while we do the show, and we can couple the two and keep this thing growing, man. I'm excited, man. I really like how this is going so far. Shout out to Noah, our producer, for last minute helping getting everything set up, running the audio through everything, and we're rolling, man. We're rolling. 10 plus wins just fine for year one. I think that's you're exceeding expectations in year one if you get 10 plus wins. I know we got a great roster, but I mean, that's not going to be easy, but 10 wins, that's a great first start. And like Roman said, with the 12-team playoff, you got a chance to make the playoffs. Noah said he hopes you guys are enjoying the music. Yeah, man. You got any song requests coming in and out of breaks? Let us know. I'll pass it over to him. He's been killing it, man. Would DeBoer have left if it wasn't Bama? All of them look at how it would best position them for the future. He said at his press conference that there was only a couple schools, maybe just one school he would have left for, and that was Alabama. Honestly, I don't think he would have left hardly for any other program. And that's what he said. That's from his mouth. All right, we're about to hop back on air. So Noah's going to run the feedback to you guys, and we're about to go back on mute. Keep leaving some questions out. We're going to go to the phone lines. We're also going to read some of you guys' questions. Again, we got 2 hours now, so plenty of time. So here we go.
Good job. That, again, not so Christian, I thought it was pretty funny. Not funny, but maybe shocking is the right word, that he was wanting them to hire from within. And then when you talked about this, when you look at Alabama's coaching staff, one of the things that I know I have said that it was one of the reasons, I said this last night on our pod, that I thought Nick Saban, it forced him to retire a little bit earlier because he hasn't had that staff. When we think about all the guys that now are head coaches that came up under the Nick Saban tree, all the guys that have come even through the factory of healing, like Spark, Steve Sarkisian, and like Lane Kiffin and Butch Jones, guys that even Loxley at New Mexico, didn't coach well, didn't have great things, but they came there and they got rehab. They got a touch. They got a touch of Coach Saban. Kind of like the church. They got a laying on of hands in the coaching world.
Right.
And they were redeemed, right? And so when you look at this staff before Saban retired, T-Rob is obviously the biggest cog because of the recruiting prowess and the relationship with the players, right?
And
you have
his
guys like
knowledge
Robert-
of defense. I'll be honest with you. I
knowledge
think
of defense.
I think they
Yeah,
want to.
the
I
back
think they
end
want to.
especially.
Well, I think they want to adopt some of our defensive philosophies. If I'm being honest with you,
Yeah, they should.
Yeah,
I mean,
and whether that's completely take those philosophies or just use some of that influence, they definitely would like to learn something about that. Because look, I'm telling you, if Washington had defense like ours, if we have Washington's offense last year, with
our
our
defense wasn't great.
See, come on, man. They were.
I mean, let's be honest. When
listen,
you're saying like ours, it's not the old school Alabama defense.
Were they better than Washington's
defensively.
defense? Did they play
much better?
Did they shut Georgia down? I mean, I'm not saying they're perfect, but come on now, they were a good defense. Don't do that, man. See, that's the problem.
You said, but
no,
you said like
I'm saying because our
yesteryear.
But listen, our standard is set so high. Like, were they holding guys to under 2.5 yards a rush? Listen, we're in a new age of college football. Stats are going to look a little bit differently too. But I gave you the stats with our rushing defense. Don't make me do this again, man. We did a good job defending the run, even against Michigan. What? Oh, here he goes. Look, we did a good job defending the run against Michigan. Look at that, right? We did a great job against LSU, but the quarterback rushed for all those scramble yards.
Did we give up a touchdown run in overtime to win the game?
Listen, I'm not saying we were perfect. I'm just saying statistically, if you want to look at statistics, you can't. You're the first one to say don't go off a number, so don't let those numbers fool you.
They tell part of the story, not the whole story.
I never said we were perfect on defense, but at Alabama last year, we still had a good defense, much better than Washington's defense. So what I'm saying is, if you took our defense last season and paired that with Washington's offense, I mean, that's a great recipe, man. That's a recipe for success. That's all I'm saying. I will say though, we do probably have to go to another break here in just a few minutes. So if you want to take one call, I say we take one call, and then we're going to take a break, and then we'll do another one. So let's head to the phone lines just real quick, because I know you guys have been patiently waiting, and we want to get you guys involved. So we'll have I think Tommy from Romulus is going to be our first caller on our new set.
No, not Tommy.
Yep, Tommy from Romulus. So Tommy, welcome in to the new time slot of the Miller's Edge.
I'm happy. I was listening to Kerry them during the post show Saturday, and they were saying all this. And all you said last week, I can't tell y'all yet, but something good coming down the line. Something good coming down the line. Perry spilled the beans.
Well, no, I'm glad he did. I was hoping to say it on the show, but I never got it cleared. I was waiting to get it cleared, so I just was trying to be respectful and whatnot. So that's all it was. But hey, we're here now, Tommy, and you're the first caller. So I'm excited to have you as our first caller here on our new slot.
Yeah, I am too. I'm glad I got another hour.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts with all this stuff, Tom? I know you got a lot to say about it.
Well, there's going to be a lot of noise, and like I said last week, the other guy who comes on after you, I can't think of his name right now, but I'm like, it's going to be a lot of noise.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of noise. Let the noise pass. I'm happy that what he got with his offensive coordinator. I wish we could keep T-Rob, but it don't look like that. And I was kind of, a lot of people that I talked to was mad about Mr. Bonds. I said, well, he's only 20 years old, and you drop something in front of him. I'm 62. You drop a lot of money on me, I might dance on your grave. I don't know. But, let the young man do what's best for him. I mean, people say, I'm now not going to buy them print now, because the last two guys we got all were winning prints on. One is Louisville, the other one in Texas. That's a slap in Alabama face. I went, no, it's a different beast now. I mean, kids are getting an opportunity to help their parents. Like you said, y'all didn't come from a lot of money, and the parents didn't have a lot of money. And they see this as an opportunity to help themselves and the parents. It's more complicated than just
Tommy, what was I see Aaron Suttle's a good friend of our show, who's been on our show, who runs Yay Alabama. They've obviously is making a big push. Greg Byrne is totally, the AD is behind this, of the fans giving more money, joining these sites and things so they can invest more into the athlete or compete at least, because let's just be real about it. And we'll talk more about this for sure in hour number 2, because, and I said this morning, my little teaser for the show. As a former player, as an old schooler, You hate it because it should not be this way, right? And I think it hurts from the standpoint, like Roman said, that kids don't have an allegiance to the A or to the block C or to whatever your logo is and what school you like.
Yep.
They're not going to school for that anymore. They're going for school for money and the best opportunity to get me to the league for more money, right? That's what they're more interested in. And I know that's not every one of them, but the majority of them, that's where their mind is. Because they're going to build their brand, they can sell stuff, they can drive. I mean, Isaiah Bond said, "You want?" I'm not mad at him, and I said this in our pod yesterday. I'm not mad. I mean, if somebody's going to give me a Lamborghini or Lambo or whatever you call it, or Ferrari or what, to drive for free. I mean, and I was driving a $700 or $500, excuse me, Monte Carlo with my name painted on the door. I mean, I'm going to go from that to. Listen, you can say what you want, but you don't understand where these kids are coming from and what their life has been like. And it's hard. Nick Saban was that glue. T-Rob is that glue that keep guys, okay, but they out here trying to raise money. I mean, if I'm Nick Saban, he owns dealerships, right? You better give some of them cars away. Lease them. Because I promise you, everybody else is doing it.
Well, see, here's a problem. Since I'm a lifelong Alabama fan, I'm going to say there's a problem here, and it's probably arrogance. Oh my God, why go anywhere else? We're the best in Alabama. Well, now the money have gotten into it. Well, guess what? You're going to have to come off of that Benjamin in your hip pocket. More than one, several of them. And that's the name of it. Do I like it? No. Like I said, when I got my first Alabama jersey when I was 10 years old, I was hooked for life or younger. You know, people are not like that. I mean, you know, I can name you about every quarterback, every running back, ever played for Alabama. Well, that's my school.
Right.
I'm like the old Beach Boys song. Be true to your school like you would be to your girlfriend. I know I just butchered that song, but hey, I'm not a singer.
Well, no, I mean, and that's why I'm torn because, you know, as somebody that came here, like Roman alluded to, you know, I wanted to play for Coach Saban. I wanted to play for this university with this rich tradition. I wanted to be a part of this legacy. And now that Coach Saban just retired, I'm seeing that, like, man, it's like, you know, you don't know how good something is until it's gone. And then now that Coach Saban's retired, I'm like, man, I'm so grateful for that I had that opportunity. I'm so blessed and proud of myself for, you know, taking this opportunity because, I mean, there will never be another Coach Saban. And I'm one of those guys that I take pride in those type of things, right? I take pride in the sentimental things. But unfortunately, nowadays, with all these opportunities to grow brands and make money while you're in college, look, I can't fault these guys either because, believe it or not, I mean, not all these guys are going to get a chance to play on Sundays. And even if they do, who knows how long they play. So you can't blame them for taking advantage of these situations because I highly doubt all of them are thinking like this. But if it was me, I would think, hey, man, shoot, $600,000, $700,000, $1 million, that can take you a long way if you properly invested and put in the right place. And that's a nice security blanket if the NFL doesn't work out. So, I mean, there's so many factors, and there's a lot to talk about. And we're going to talk about that this next segment. The time we got to get the break real quick because we've been running over a little bit. So we appreciate you calling in. Thank you for being our first caller. Glad it was you because you're always, you know, so supportive of our show. So Tommy's the guy. So thank you so much, Tommy, for chatting with us.
All right, have a great day. Talk to y'all later.
All right.
Yes, sir.
We got more calls. We got more stuff to do.
We got chats lined up on YouTube.
Yeah, we got 300 questions right there. For sure.
Well, and I need to get this too. JD Long, he gave us 2 super chats over on YouTube. So thank you so much, JD, for both those super chats. Just saying Roll Tide, but Pastor Payne and Christian Miller, and he thought the interview with Roman was dope. So thank you so much, JD, for that. And again, we're going to try to get to as many questions on here, to your phones, the app messages. We're growing this thing, man. This thing, we're doing it now. The Miller's Edge is really alive and in full effect. So appreciate everybody supporting and hanging out with us because this is exciting, man. We got some really good stuff coming up. But we're going to head to break real quick, come back real briefly, and then we'll head to another break. But again, we're going to take phone calls, talk about this stuff coming up in the second hour. Again, you're listening to the Miller's Edge right here on Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. Again, we are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Sport Experts. We'll be right back after a quick timeout.
Town Square Media winter weather update, seeing a winter weather advisory and also a hard freeze warning that kicks in tonight. Now, we will see chances for the rain and freezing rain and sleet farther to the north throughout the day, maybe a tenth of an inch of ice. Farther south you go, it will be tonight before we start to see the rain or freezing rain, maybe a light glaze there, and then temperatures get cold. Tuesday night, the overnight low dropping back anywhere in the upper single digits near the low teens. I'm Jeff Eno at the Weather Channel.
Don't miss your chance to win at Birmingham Racecourse Casino.
Y'all hear me on the live or no?
So come on in for non-stop gaming action.
If you want to read any of the chats or do anything, I got you on mute.
They mute me out on the live.
No, I know you're unmuted. Like we can hear you. Can you hear us? I guess he's not paying attention. No worries. Let's see. Mimi says, Christian, you and your guys were a part of something very special. I, for one, am very appreciative that you were ours. Oh, man, no, thank you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. You guys welcomed me with open arms and all my teammates. And, man, I wouldn't have wanted to play for any other university. That's why I said I'm torn, man, because you almost can't blame these guys trying to take advantage of some of these opportunities, but at the same time, man, it's sad to see that there's just not that same level of allegiance to these programs. Because as a guy like me, you know, I obviously still have a lot of ties. I pride myself in being an ambassador for the university, man. It's just not the same, man. These guys don't have the same level of loyalty to programs as they once had, but it's part of the new landscape of college football. So, man, sorry guys, I'm trying to manage calls, chats. Dang, this is awesome. I love having both of these going at the same time. This is great. I'm gonna try to get to some of these questions. We've had people on hold for quite some time, man. So I'm gonna try to get to those calls, but I'm gonna also try to get some of y'all's questions. So leave some questions in the comments, but I'll specifically let you guys know when I'm going to try to read them on air. Trev says, my guys, keep doing your thing, man. Appreciate it, Trev. Hey, we're trying, man. We're trying to grow and expand as much as possible. And that's only possible because of you guys making that possible. So thank you guys for all the support, all of our listeners on the radio show, then over here on our podcast, on our YouTube channel, man. This is just phenomenal. And it's, man, it's awesome to see all this stuff coming together. Because I don't know if you guys know, but I do all the engineering on here, all the graphics, all the uploads, and with Noah's help on the radio station side of things. So, man, we've been growing this thing, and just to see it come to fruition, man, it's awesome. So we're about to come back out of break, so I'm going to mute myself, put them back on, and then I'll try to get to you guys soon, man. But appreciate you guys again.
I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 44 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
And we're back on the edge on Monday, 12:56. Top of the hour, 205. 342-9904 is the number for the show. We got a couple of minutes before we hit the top of the hour break. So what we'll do right now, we got messages coming in from our YouTube feed, and we ask you to download the free app Tide 100.9 on your smartphone or your tablet. You can leave a message there, which every day we get several of those. So let's go to the best reader. He is the best reader in all of Alabama. All of Alabama. He reads better than anybody. Okay? And you're getting ready to witness Noah Haynes. Noah, we got app message. What we got, sir?
That's right. We got an app message on the Tide 100.9 app from Buckethead in Ridge Spring. Buckethead says, just found this app. Glad to be able to hear about the Tide in South Carolina. So he's hanging out in South Carolina too. Just wanted to say hello to us and let us know he got the app.
South Kakalaki.
Where's he from? Ridge Spring?
Ridge Spring. That's what he said.
Yeah.
You familiar with that?
Is.
I'm not
yeah,
sure.
Man. See, in South Carolina, you get a bunch of, little small towns like mine. I'm from Pageland, South Carolina. We are the watermelon capital of the world. So many of you across the globe probably have heard of Pageland. Before I started, before I was bossing on the field and stuff like that. But then you have little towns like Rich Springs and Mount Croghan and Ruby, little small, they call it a town, but there really isn't a town. They don't have no lights, no They might have a mayor, like the mayor might be somebody's cousin. I don't so,
Ridge Springs is out towards Aiken. That's what John Jones just said.
Yeah, well, that's near me. That's on the Columbia side. So if you go out 20, like going towards Alabama, towards Aiken, that way. So it's probably off the little cut down there. What else we got, Mr. Haynes?
Do we have any more on the app side?
That's all on the app for now, but as they come in, I'll let you know.
Sounds good. I'll get a quick YouTube one because we really only have 1 minute for this next break. Eric Anderson says, I wouldn't panic about losing Isaiah Bond as long as we don't lose Caleb Downs. That's a great one. I should have saved that. And look, we'll save some of that because we'll dive into that next hour. But
well, we got to talk about how Caleb, I think, is connected to T-Rob.
You just said that's a strong statement there.
So I want to talk more about that. So hold Eric.
Eric, we're gonna hold that. That's a good one.
Because this could be we get both or we keep none. I'm just saying the man's from Georgia, and we stole him away from Kirby. That was a big one. And
Did you see Kirby?
Doubt.
Did you see Kirby go up to him after the SEC championship game?
Of course he did. You know what Kirby said? We got some money here for you. That's what I'm telling you, man.
You know what's crazy? You know who was right behind him in that video? Who shook his hand right after Caleb? T-Rob. I'm pretty sure it was Caleb, but then you see T-Rob walk up.
Yeah. Football is dirty, man. And I want to talk more about this.
Hold on. They weren't plotting right there. Come on now. They weren't plotting right there.
We know Kirby Smart is dirty. We're going to keep the real rate. Kirby Smart ain't never been he's a good dude, but he definitely loves to live in the gray areas. I mean, if you don't think Kirby Smart is not Mr. Great, there's something wrong with you.
I thought that was Jim Harbaugh.
Well, maybe we at Alabama been a little bit too clean. Maybe we've been too nice. Let me tell you, if Alabama's going to stay up here, we got a bumper song. No, we got to talk about some songs about mustard and money. Because if Alabama's going to stay up here, one, unfortunately, Alabama got to start. Alabama don't have the NIL like that. They don't have Texas money. They don't have Oregon money. They don't have Georgia money.
I don't know. We got some.
They don't. They're not.
I've been told we got some good.
Well, they ain't spending it. They ain't spending it. So anyway, top of the hour break. When we come back, we'll talk more about Alabama football, more about T-Rob, more about who is the next. We maybe throw some names out there. Maybe if T-Rob's not the guy, who will be that next guy? We'll talk about that. We'll take more of your phone calls. We got the YouTube going on right here. Tons of people there. Tons of questions. A lot of great comments. We'll get to all of this and more. Along the Middle's Edge in the Tide, 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. We are the home of Alabama Crimson Tide Sports. Hour number 2, just around the corner.
All right, shout out to Noah, man. Noah is killing it right now. Engineer. I'm watching him back behind the glass. I wish I had his camera on him, man. He's jamming out, mixing it. He looks like my brother back there DJing. Speaking of that, my brother's a DJ for the Alabama basketball team, women's gymnastics, that good stuff. So if you guys are in Tuscaloosa or you attend a basketball game or gymnastics meet, my brother DJs, so you can check him out there. Dang, 1 hour is already done. It flies by, but hey, we got 2 now. So we'll be here for another hour with you guys. I promise we're going to start trying to get these calls and chats going. It's just, man, it's hard to squeeze everything in when we've got so much going on, but it's a blessing, man. We appreciate that. Let's see. I think my dad has this thing muted or sound down, so he don't realize that. Let me text him so he knows. Yep, see, there's Caleb. That's what I was just talking about on air. And then who was that? See? I don't know if they're plotting, but I told you now. I mean, people know people, right? There's relationships. That's why I was saying you got to be quick, man. Georgia was pursuing this man before Coach Saban retired. I'm telling you what I know. We can hear you. We can talk to you. Guys, be patient with him. He's still trying to figure out his tech. I don't think he understands. Let me text him.
Listen, I mean,
I'm
really worried about Caleb Downs. We're getting ready to get into that.
Dad does his best analysis.
My dad's best analysis when I'm muted. Yep. That's one guy's blue fan that I want to hear the truth.
I'm just pulling your leg, man. That's right, Mimi. Hit that thumbs up button if you haven't already, man. We appreciate it. That helps us out tremendously. Subscribe if you enjoy the content. Again, I'm going to try to keep this up. Every day that we do the show, I'm going to try to be live here as well. So make sure you guys subscribe, stay up to date. Make sure you guys check out Tide 100.9. There it is. Check out Tide 100.9. You can follow them on X at Tide 109, at Tide 109 FM on Instagram. Check out the website, tide100.9.com. Stay up to the latest. You can check out the other shows as well. You can always go back and listen to the replays. Tuscaloosa Thread is the news part of this station. So, and big thanks to Tide 100.9. That is our flagship station where we go live with our radio show.
C. Jones, what's up, buddy? I appreciate you. Love y'all, man. Miss y'all. I have to come and see you soon. I'm about to do a live show. I have to wear a mask, though, now. If I do a live show from the Maduro. Oh, gosh.
Yeah, dude, do your thing, man. Yeah, Ed said he was just messing with you. You can turn your volume up on your computer if you want, so you can hear us. Kirby wanted him to come to Georgia. He turned it down. He might have wanted Kirby might have wanted him to come there in like some type of advisory role, man. I think Coach Burns, man, he's kind of like Coach Saban in terms of getting up there in age. He had all those knee surgeries, knee replacements. I think he kind of was feeling the.
It's all good,
But he's a hell of a football coach, man. Coach Burns is a legend when it comes to coaching. Man, he'll get on you. But that's why we had so many good running backs. We had the talent, but he knew how to get the best out of that talent. What do y'all think about pulling some Michigan players in portal if Harbaugh leaves? Help recruit a lot of those players.
That's a good yeah, I think Harbaugh takes the Chargers job. He's meeting with them today. That's the report.
10-4. All right, we got 30 seconds before we go back on. So keep the comments going. I'm going to try to get to some as we do the show again. We got a whole another hour, guys, now. Double the time, man. God is good. So we got a whole another hour, and we're going to try to get to all you guys, and then we're going to get to these phone calls for sure because some people have been waiting dang near an hour, man. I feel terrible, but here we go.
Here we go.
Hey. Hey. Must be the money. Hour number 2 on the way here on the Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9, 1230 AM WTBC. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for hanging in here. We're excited. Our first hour number 2 of the year. So we're looking forward to many, many, many more to come. Again, don't forget you can call us 205-342-9904. Download that free at Tide 100.9. You can ask your questions there. You can join us on our YouTube. And we got that going live. We got a ton of questions and comments there. So thanks for all the folks that are on there watching our show as well. We appreciate you. We appreciate all of the people here. We're gracing Miller's Edge. We want to say thank you. We don't take things like this blessing for the Lord. We really do appreciate it. We're talking a lot about what's going on in Alabama in hour number 1 with T-Rob. T-Rob will be headed for, I say headed back to I mean, did he ever leave? I mean,
I'm pretty sure.
Did he sign a contract? Did he never? What was he not? I don't get.
Well, think about it. I mean, you had Coach Armstrong that came from where is it? The linebacker coach we hired last year. He was here for the league. Then took the coordinator job at Florida. I mean, this is way quicker than that. But I mean, I'm sure. I think T-Rob might have gone to Athens, interviewed, got figured all that stuff out, and then flew back. I mean,
Georgia said, I knew he's a coordinator.
Yeah, no, his Twitter had all that stuff. But here's the thing, man. I mean, it ain't nothing for these schools to send planes. Most of these private planes back and forth all the time. So who knows where he's at right now? Maybe he's in either place.
They put T-Rob on the set. He went on a private jet. He was on the But nah, I think he probably did sign, and then they what we want to make sure not. Again, as we talked about hour number one, about the strong relationship that he has with Muschamp from South Carolina and Florida, and help build him up. How strong those bonds are. We talked about a guy that's Southeast guy and you don't want to mess those relationships up. Kirby's a young guy. You with a team that's going to be picked to win a national championship. You're going to get Alabama players, which they've got one, right? A safety of somebody corner already. Here's the bottom line, guys. And this is what I want to talk about. We will talk some NFL talk here too this hour. T-Rob to me was the one guy that's tied with Caleb Downs. He is responsible for the maturation of Caleb. Caleb Downs had a phenomenal year. Caleb Downs, we can easily say, could have been our best defensive player as a freshman. I don't think anybody would argue with that.
Led the team in tackles.
I mean, right. Yeah, he made mistakes like in the Rose Bowl, right? Not covering the guy in the flat, different things. We can go on that. Yeah, he did rookie freshman things. But I think we could argue maybe the best or definitely one of the top 2 or 3 best players on this Tide defense. He's from Georgia. T-Rob leaves. He has a strong relationship, as we know, with T-Rob. You best believe, as I just showed you the video, I know those on the air can't see it, but I just showed you the video on our YouTube of T-Rob pounding Caleb Dobbs after the loss in the SEC championship. Pounding T-Rob. Right? So everybody now, you heard Roman say, who's our guest, Roman Harper, SEC Network, hour number one. Everybody is plucking this shark-infested waters of Alabama's roster. Everybody's at it. And I said the thing about Caleb DeBoer. I don't know what Caleb DeBoer. I'm not going to go out here and just because I'm a fan of Alabama and just say, well, he had a great offense in Washington. And he's won everywhere that he's been. And he won 3 national championships at NAI. And I'm not going to be that guy. Because I know after years in this conference, not just Alabama, but in this conference and covering it from TV to radio, that you just don't walk up in here and it's just that easy. Especially when you have 0 ties. You can tell me all of that. Yeah, but he did it over here. He did that on the left coast, as they call it. And the left coast, the west coast, the Pacific Northwest isn't Mississippi. It isn't Georgia. It isn't South Carolina. It's not North Carolina, not Alabama. It's different. And coaching ties and recruiting is huge. Because right here in South Carolina, one of the things, and Christian will tell you this, that we yelled at Steve Spurrier, one of the best coaches in the SEC ever, was he lacked having relationship with high school coaches. He lacked that. And it hurt him. And he lost recruits for a while. But then somebody came along and they understood recruiting and understood the importance of building a relationship, of showing your face, being around the program, dabbing up them coaches, bringing them in, making relationships. Now you get kids. This guy hadn't done that. Nobody on his staff hasn't done it, or maybe one guy up to this degree, Christian. I mean, it's not going to be easy, and I'm not going to sit here. I hope he changes it quick. But it's not going to be easy. There's a lot of these folks that are on radio that has a microphone in front of them, their face or writing on a computer. Don't tell me what he did yesterday. Don't tell me what he did at Fresno, what he did. I don't care about. This is going to be a new animal, and you best believe that.
Right. But only thing I'll say to that, and those are valid points. You're right. I mean, it is going to be difficult, at least in the beginning. However, I think we're kind of blowing it out of proportion a little bit. I think we're making it more than it needs to be. Is that a valid? I wouldn't. And I was listening to that. You mentioned that Twitter Spaces. They're talking about, oh, that's nothing to worry about. I'm like, oh no, there's something a little bit to worry about. I wouldn't say to worry about, but that is a very valid point. As somebody who's been through the recruiting process, I mean, I was a top ranked player out of South Carolina. I, had all the schools coming and talking to me and all that. And I understand how it works. You understand how it works.
You're top 40. I mean, ESPN had you in the country, top 30 or 40.
Right. So I'm very well versed with the recruiting process. I know how it went for all my teammates. We were all at camps. Look, with that being said, I mean, there is some truth to that when there's a coach from a different, part geographically, and you might not necessarily have gotten to know him or his staff very well. There's like that introductory process, right? That is true. However, let's just be honest. I mean, the guy is going to, do what he needs to do to adapt. Now, having a guy like T-Rob and some of these tenured coaches who have been in the SEC, been in the Southeast, these guys that know the area, know the coaches, right? That helps that transition much quicker. But I fully expect Coach DeBoer to make that transition to adapt to this recruiting culture. I don't know how soon that's going to be, but I truly believe that he will. He strikes me as a guy that wants to. I just saw that he had Courtney Morgan, the new player development guy or GM, whatever you want to call it, these roles. I mean, they all call different things. He was already reaching out to high school coaches here in Alabama. That's the right start. So those are the things I feel like that aren't being talked about enough when we talk about, it's going to be tough recruiting SEC. It is 100%. It is going to be tough. I mean, you're competing against Kirby Smart. You're competing against Lane Kiffin, right? All these guys that have been here, they know the coaches, they know the culture, they know everybody around here. It's going to be tough, but I definitely think retaining a guy like Freddie Roach, retaining a guy like Robert Gillespie, attempting to retain T-Rob, that's the first step in the right direction. Now hearing that Courtney Morgan's already reaching out to high school coaches, that shows me that he's taking the right steps to be successful at recruiting, because we all know, just like Roman said, if you can't recruit, you can't win. I don't care if you've gone and turned other programs around. It doesn't work like that in the SEC, right? I mean, it's just a fact. You have to be able to get these guys. But I think they're on the right track by already reaching out to some of these coaches and being able to get guys, familiar with them. It seems like they're going about that the right way. So that's just my only argument to that. I agree with you. It isn't going to be easy, but I definitely think they're taking the necessary steps.
By the way, you was ranked number 48 per ESPN overall, top 300.
Oh, thank you. That was nice. Well,
that's pretty high.
I was, but
the only team on your list that give you an offer was Vanderbilt.
No, I think they might have offered me. I don't know. I don't know if it showed. No, I don't know if it showed it on there. No. I don't know if it. Most of the time, when the players tell them who offered them, it's not like they're speaking with the coaches. And you remember how I was. I didn't like talking to anybody. So I had more offers than it showed. I just didn't really discuss it because I was locked in on Alabama, Florida, and Georgia. There you go, right there. Culturally, man, I was trying to stay down here. I wanted to be in familiar territory, familiar coaches.
So your boy Morgan, Mr. Morgan, the general manager, making sure. I don't know, man. Why is he called a general manager?
I'm trying to figure that out too. In college football, that is a little weird to me. I'm not used to that, because if that's the case, we might as well give guys contracts.
You're pro sports. The general manager I know, like George Young, Ernie Accorsi. These folks that even you can say Jerry Jones, the general manager of the Cow. I mean, how are you a general manager of a college team?
All right, man.
What does that mean?
Listen, it's player personnel. Player personnel. We'll just call it player personnel. We didn't have that role initially. So it's different. We'll get used to it. But we do have to take another time out. Get used to the quick schedule, kind of breaking at different times. But that being said, I promise you want to get to the phone line. I think KJ up next. KJ's been waiting patiently. KJ will come out on the other side of the stage. You're listening to the Miller's Edge right here on Tide 100.9. 12:30 a.m. WTBC. We are the home of Alabama sports. We are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's Art Support. We'll be right back at the quick timeout. KJ,
Town Square Media winter weather update, seeing a winter weather advisory and also a hard freeze warning that kicks in tonight. Now we will see chances for the rain and freezing rain and
Yeah, sorry guys. I see some of you guys saying that it was a little muffled on here. I'm trying to work with what we got. That way you guys can hear the radio feed and us. Because I was going to try to just do it where it's just me and my dad. You can hear us talking, but then you guys wouldn't be able to hear the callers, the guests, all that good stuff. So we'll try to work those kinks out. But again, this is our first day doing it. I think it sounded pretty clear initially, and maybe it got muffled. Let me excuse me. Guys, let me know. Yeah, it's gonna sound better now because now I'm using this direct mic. I'm not using the radio feed, Ed. But you can always go to only muffled when the radio is on. Yeah. All right, Ephraim, we got you. We're gonna keep working on it. Hey, again, man, it's our first day, man. Look, man, before we didn't have this, man. This is a luxury right now. You got me. Normally it's just the radio, so we're doing the best we can, man. At the worst, we got muffled audio, but we still got the feed going, which is cool. But we can definitely keep working on it for you. But you can always, if you can't stand the muffled noise and you don't care to see us, and you can always tune in to the actual radio feed, Tide 100.9. So I can, as a matter of fact, I'll drop the link where you can listen to the live pop up. There's the live link right there. Yeah, if you go to tide100.9.com and listen live, you can listen there. If you'd rather just listen to that feed. The only thing is it might be a little delayed if you listen to that and try to watch us. But I guess, we ain't really got nothing going on crazy, man. We're just sitting. I'm in studio. My dad's in his home studio. Somebody said it's not that bad. Yeah, like I said, it's just your preference. If you want to have that crisp audio, just go listen to the radio feed. With the link I just sent you, or download the app. You can always download the app, Tide 100.9 on the Apple App Store or Android. You can download the app and just hit listen live. But if you guys want to hang out with us here and leave questions and stuff like that, man, do that. You just might have to put up with some muffled audio. So I apologize if it's a little muffled, but like I said, we're working on it. It's our first day doing it. I didn't even know if it'd be possible to get the radio feed going, but we do have it. Just the quality's not perfect, but I'll try to figure that out as we keep working on this. And if you guys have any more stuff you guys want to talk about or any ideas, let us know. Coach West says you're going great. Appreciate it, man. Hey, we're about to hop on here. I see you got a super chat, so let me try to get to that too real quick. We might have to do KJ first, but I'm going to get to you, Coach West. Appreciate that super chat. That thing, $4.99 super chat, man. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to get that for you on air. All right, here we go.
100.9. It's 42 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
121 on the now. Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Hope you're doing well. We're talking Bama, obviously. A lot of things happening. Look like T-Rob is not going to stay in Tuscaloosa. Look like he probably is going to take the offer that's on the table for him at Georgia. A lot of folks are commenting on the app.
Yeah, we got a super chat from Coach West. It's a $4.99 super chat. Appreciate you, man. He's over on our YouTube feed. He says, I'm going to give the new coach a chance. I just hope he recruits recruit kids to play SEC football, not to play Washington Husky football. So look,
Yes,
if they play Washington Husky offense, I think that could be a good product. But defense, yeah, I think we need to stick to some SEC style, physical, fast, relentless, tough. You know how it goes, right? If we stick that on defense, we'll be good. But again, Coach West, appreciate you with that super chat. I did say we're going to go to the phone line, so we need to do that. KJ's been waiting over an hour. KJ, I'm sorry you had to wait, brother, but
an hour.
Yeah, he's been waiting an hour, man. He's been waiting patiently. But listen,
hour and 6 minutes and 34 seconds.
See,
right now,
he's
Well,
on.
you know what? You're
It's
champ,
worth it
bro.
though. It's worth it. I'll get you a hat for waiting so long. I'll find a way to send you a hat, man. Get with me on that, and I'll get you a hat.
All right, bet. Yo, but this is my question, man. I know that it seems like everybody's trying to, go at
DeBoer's head. But to me, he did the right thing. Like I went and I knew how important he was. I came back and I brought him back to talk to me to give him what he wanted. Right.
Mm.
And I know that it's like to me that shows that he's relentlessly, he can actually adapt. Right.
Right.
Because some people could be stuck in their ways and say, no, like it is what I've been with my DC for 25 years. It is what it is.
Right.
For him to show that, all right, let me try to figure out what's going on. Let's try to work this thing out. But here's the thing that it's probably like stepping in the lion's den with both of you guys, because I know you guys are T-Rob guys. And I'm a T-Rob guy too. But me, the first time you did it, I get it. This is a decision. They didn't give you what you wanted. You tell the players, hey, I gotta go. I get that. Now, the second time, you come back, you're around the players, they get excited, and then you rip it out of their hearts again. Like, to me now it's like, okay, now you're doing this a little bit too much, because why would you get these players excited thinking that you're coming back and then it's the same thing? Then you rip your heart. And to me, at the end of the day, you chose this relationship like you said, it was a choice. You chose your relationship with Will Muschamp over your relationship with the players. And that's just the facts of the matter, in my opinion.
Well, I think you're right, KJ. Listen, I mean, this is kind of from what I know behind the scenes. Like, we knew that. I know what T-Rob said, his conversation, some of it with the players. I know how things went down, right?
Yeah.
Before the first time, so there was conversation. There was all of that was there, but it wasn't like, we really need you. We can't afford to let you go. You know what I mean? Like it had to be like a desperate thing from Kalen DeBoer's part, because he had already, Chris had said that we knew this Georgia thing was an issue beforehand, right? Because that was a problem. So they didn't come at him right. Greg Burns should have been more involved. Nick Saban should have been very involved in this.
And honestly, that's what I really blame. But I mean, I can't blame the GOAT. But you know what I mean?
No. You can't blame him, because he should, if he's going to be a part of the program, in my opinion, that right there, that new guy's not going to sell T-Rob.
But that's the initial reaction. That's the initial offer. The second offer, they cannot go on anybody but T-Rob. You got these players excited, man. And I've talked to, like, you got these players excited thinking you were coming. Now you know what they're saying is, at first it was, oh, this staff is messed up. Now they're saying, okay, you know what? This is a business. He really wasn't wild with everything that he said, because they gave him what he wanted. So what's not an issue?
Well, listen, I said this with Roman, who was on our show, SEC Network, earlier, that I understand that how deep relationships are rooted here in the South when it comes to football and these coaches, right? And I don't know what they offered him. I don't. I mean, I don't know what kind of dollar sign was there, but I know for him to make that decision to choose Bama had to be very, very, because if you break that bond, you do know if it doesn't work out, because we don't know. It's all speculation. We think Kalen DeBoer is going to change things. We love the offense. We love what he did with Michael Penix Jr. We love all of that. How he has won at a high clip. We'd love that's good. But reality is we don't know. We think, but we don't know. So, okay. So what do you choose? I'm just telling you, from my perspective, it would be, okay, if I break this relational bond that these guys have done brought me up through the ranks, that made me help make me somebody.
And also, can I cut in right there too as well?
Yeah, go for it.
He is more valuable right now as he is after Nick Saban had him than when we hired him. When we hired him, they could have been. Why didn't Kirby Smart hire him then? He was available then. So why now are you looking at? Why now is he so valuable? And so, you got to give. At the end of the day, you got to. Me as a man, I'm gonna say, you know what? Y'all didn't want me while I was hot. Now I'm hot. Now you're trying to use me for my leverage with Caleb down. I'm smarter than that. But to him, I think it's his relationship with Will Muschamp. If Will Muschamp wasn't there, I think he would be the DC right now at Alabama.
That's fair.
I agree, and that's why I'm just telling you, I know them, both of them very well, right?
So I feel like he chose his relationship over Will Muschamp over the players. The players got to look at this.
Will Muschamp is his guy.
this is a business.
That's what I'm saying. He wasn't going to leave Will Muschamp, even though Muschamp is moving on upstairs. But
it should allow the players got to look at it and say that we may go there. You know, we can go to these coaches' office, joke it, kick, and laugh. But at the end of the day, they're going to do what's best for them. They're not going.
Everybody does.
Yep. So
everybody does.
I was about to say, I mean, you just got to look at it from a perspective too. I mean, if you had two job choices and one was with all your friends and all the guys that you know, and the other was with, you know, a bunch of new people and maybe just a couple guys sprinkled in, I mean, you can't really blame them there either. You know what I mean? Like, because I'll be honest, I'd rather be in the comfort of all my familiar friends and colleagues. I think he's a little low, Noah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, there it goes. There it goes.
Got you now.
Oh, I was saying that I feel like it's more than that. It's the relationship and the bond that you made with these players that you're raising up to be men. It's not just new friends. You're raising up men as players.
Oh, no, I get it. I mean, because I was one of those players. But let me tell you this, though. I mean, I also had different coordinators every other year. It felt like when I was here, and I adapted just fine. I mean, it's really not the end of the world, KJ, if I'm being honest with you. My first year, I had Lance Thompson, who used to get on my tail. Then he left. I mean, I'll be honest. I really wasn't sweating it much.
I'm glad about that.
Right. Tosh Lupoy comes in, and I'll be honest. I mean, our first couple years together, I mean, it wasn't the best fit. I mean, but it was what it was. I respected him because he was my football coach, and then we grew together as time went on. But that's what I'm saying. I mean, I get the bond between the players, and I respect that. But at the same time, I mean, I experienced it where, I mean, Kevin Steele recruited me here. He was gone after my first year. Then Kirby left after my second year. I believe he helped recruit me. I was close with him. Pruitt came in. I ended up really enjoying him. So, I mean, you just got to learn that as a college football player. I mean, especially here at Alabama and other at other prominent programs, that's what you're going to have to get used to. Guys are going to come and go, and you know sometimes they have to do what they feel is best for themselves.
Not so much anymore, though.
Yeah.
I think
but that's why I respect guys. If a coach leaves, I respect their decision if they want to enter the portal and leave because the coach had that right. So then the players should also have that right, and I think that's why it's a fair window.
I think Christian and Corey, what you didn't mention that I think fans are not looking at, they keep on talking about bringing in different quarterbacks and quarterback competitions. You guys got to remember, these are kids, and they want to be around their friends. Right. A good friend of Kalen Downs is Jalen Milroe. It was him, Terry Arnano, and those three was three amigos. You might not want to be trying to bring in quarterbacks for him to leave, because if he leaves, Caleb Downs has no reason to stay there at all. His friends are going.
Bringing a quarterback to this team, like this current team?
They've been rumors that they may bring in Will Rogers or something like that. Who knows, man? It's getting crazy.
Off Mississippi State / Washington. Now I'm back in the portal. That guy who broke all the records at Mississippi State, by the way, was Coach Leach guy. Really good.
I'm just saying, fans need to be careful what they're asking for. Instead of hating, learn to embrace, because you don't know what comes after that.
That's true.
All right, KJ, appreciate the stuff.
Appreciate it, brother.
Feedback.
Yeah, thank you for waiting, man.
All right, have a good one. Hit a break. We'll come back. We'll take more calls. We'll continue to read more. There's such a lot of intriguing stuff. I want to get to the NFL, but you know what? I like to go where things are hot, so we're going to keep it right here because there are a lot of great things here that some of the fans are saying here too. We'll take some questions. We'll take some calls. All that good stuff right here on the Tide on the Monday edition of the Miller's Edge. Oh, boy. 101.9. It's the home.
Whoa. 100.9.
100.9, excuse me. I'm sorry. That's a big DM. I'm looking at something here. 100.9 will be back. It's the home of Alabama Crimson Tide. Well, excuse me, y'all. I'm here. Back in a moment.
Under the biggest cactus in town, Taco Casa. Quality is number one. You got to start with a good quality product, but it's got to be at a good value to the customers.
Everything is about quality.
You just can't beat the quality, taste, and value.
And it's because we take pride in providing you with the best.
Good customer service and good food, good quality.
We want to make sure that we give that to them each and every time they come and visit us.
The sense of pride that we have in the quality, the consistency of our food carries over to everything we do in the stores. That's Taco Casa.
Football is back, and no one does it better than the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. This season, you can watch the games with nothing on the line. Boring. Or you can make a play in the starting lineup. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino puts you into the big plays with big bets and big wins, making every game more exciting than ever. It's time for the sports glory you deserve without breaking a sweat. The Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino. Play the game. Must be 21.
She's running around. Her breath doesn't smell. Her digestive system is perfect. It has made such a huge difference.
What did this dog parent do for their dog? She switched to Nature's Blend, a premium freeze-dried raw dog food made by...
All right, I'm going to try to keep working on this audio. I'm listening to it right now, though, guys, and it sounds pretty good, at least the ads that we're running. I don't know how our voices sound on air, but I'm going to have Noah, our engineer, he's going to mute me for a second, and I'm going to listen in and see how my dad's voice sounds. But, again, if the audio is too muffled or anything like that, you can always listen to the live link at Tide 100.9 or download the app. But we're going to keep working on this, but definitely like this setup. But it sounded okay. Let me know if it still sounds a little muffled. But okay, Mimi's saying it sounds better. And it might have just been like something was lagging with the connection or something. I'm not sure. Audio is clear now. Okay, perfect. Sounds fine. All right, cool. Appreciate you guys. All right, here we go. We're back on.
100.9.
Feel like Pac. Shoot a shot. I'm coming in.
Hey, welcome back to the Miller's Edge. As we already told you, I even said it on yesterday, but I know a lot of you, if it's not from Four Letter Network or Chris Lowe, you kind of take what we say. But Chris Lowe, for those I have reported, is reporting that T-Rob met with the coaches, Caleb and DeBoer, a couple hours yesterday in Tuscaloosa, which we told you that he was meeting there already before they wrote this stuff. And he has decided to stay in Georgia as the defensive coordinator. So that ship has now sailed. So no more scuttlebutt, if, when, maybe this, that, the third, T-Rob to Alabama. Well, that's not happening. He is staying in Georgia as the co-defensive coordinator with Ben Schumann. Another tighter Alabama. I guess the question would be now for Kalen DeBoer and his staff and Greg Byrne and whoever else, Nick Saban, that gets involved in this, who should be the next defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I'd love to ask you that question. If you got your phone, just pick it up. Hit 205-342-9904. There's so many. Everybody's going to throw names out there. You know, we can go out here. We can get DJ Durkin. We can go South Alabama. There's a report out there. The defensive coordinator for South Alabama. There's names going to be coming from there. Everybody's going to give you their names, right? But we don't really know which way he goes. Does he bring his old guy from Washington, somebody he's familiar with? Might as well at this point. But we know that defense is a problem for this football team, that they struggle some. They were okay. They were Johnny on the spot. They made stops when they had to. But they're not a great defense. They need to definitely, in this conference called the SEC, where the trenches is where it's at. You got to win in the trenches. You got to be good in the red zone. You got to be good at stopping the run. So they got to find the right guy for this job. Who say you? Who say you is the next guy? Who will be the defensive coordinator for the Alabama Crimson Tide? Again, 205-342-9904. T-Rob is saying, no, thank you.
You want to get to the phone lines? We still got some people.
205-342-9904. Let's go to phones. Who we got?
We've got Bisquit Bruce, who's also been now waiting over an hour. Biscuit, we appreciate you waiting, man. Sorry for the wait, but thank you for being patient. Yeah, no, I'm getting to him. Welcome in, Biscuit.
Ho, ho, ho. It's Christmas on January the 15th.
Ho, hey, happy Martin Luther King's Day, by the way. How did I forget that?
Hey, they finally got smart and got rid of the 12 to 2 show and put somebody on here that knows what the hell they're talking about. It's.
Thank you for the support. Yeah, I definitely want to say, thanks to those guys, because I was, on the show with those guys, and
that's your old show.
The old show, Big News Sports. But definitely appreciate those guys for letting me be on there. But definitely excited for what's to come.
But look, let's be totally honest, Christian. If we're gonna be honest, your dad's a preacher now.
Hey, all right, Biscuit Bruce. All right, okay, come on now.
Okay, I'm not gonna put you on the spot.
No, sir, don't do that.
But I can voice my opinion, can I?
Yeah, that's fine.
Hey, Corey, you said you was going to talk about the NFL some. You're already talking about the minor league NFL. That is exactly what this has turned into. Now we got agents involved. They have destroyed college football as we'll ever know it.
True.
I don't understand. I don't know. It just
listen, Bisquit
so
Bruce,
if you pay a player, how can he consider to be amateur anymore?
No, there's no more amateurism. You can forget that.
No.
Don't tell me it's an amateur sport, not football.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's all.
It's when you go to say, hey, what can you give me, and what am I worth, and you know what I mean. My play on the field suggests that this is the category of what I need to be in. You know, listen, man. Right. It's I don't like it. That's why I was saying in our number one, Bisquit Bruce. I can't stand it, to be honest with you, because I know. I love my school. I love University of South Carolina. I love Alabama because that's where Christian went. I love what Nick Saban did. I saw the process. I met so many great people. I'm always have lifelong friends. The kids, his teammates that I got to know, you know, be like my little nephews to, you know, all of that stuff. And you go now and you be like, none of this stuff matters anymore.
No. And I'll tell you this, I never thought much, to be totally honest with you. I never even thought about South Carolina much, but when we went to that game up there and we met you in that restaurant, and you were so kind to come over and talk to us for a while, and you had your South Carolina suit on, your Alabama hat, and you know we thought you was all confused. Little did we know you was Christian's dad. So, you walked in the door, and first thing I said is, "Man, I wonder what NFL team this guy plays for." So the second thought was, he's a little confused. We're all sitting here in Alabama gear. He's got a South Carolina suit on and an Alabama hat. And I don't know if you remember, but that's exactly what I said to you. I said, "Sir, are you confused?" And you said, "Nope.
I remember.
My son plays at Alabama."
Yeah, man.
So,
I mean,
and so now I have
wet on your sleeve.
I have kept up with South Carolina more since then than I ever have. So I'm an Alabama fan, but I do watch what South Carolina does now simply because of you and your graciousness on that trip. But college football is, I mean, both of you, just two of the finest people. I haven't met Christian in person yet, but, you know, listen to you on the radio and your morals and what you talk about, and that's what we need. We need more people who stand up for what they believe in, but still talk about football with knowledge. And it's great. I don't get to call as much, but I listen quite often. I don't get to call Ryan like I used to, but I listen to his show a lot too. Ryan and I have lunch quite often.
Good people.
Oh yeah,
really
great dude, man.
Great guy, and I just, you know, I don't know. I personally like the hire, and the way I feel about Caleb Downs and T-Rob is this: look, if you're trying to force a coach into hiring you to keep a player, that's the wrong way to go about it. I mean, you should let your work and your own personal resume get you hired, not because you're affiliated with one or two players. And you know, I don't know if he used that or not, or if it was.
I don't think so. I think that's more of a narrative, honestly, because I don't know who in their right mind would hire a guy for a defensive coordinator position just for one person. I mean, as great as Caleb Downs is, I think that's more so a narrative that the media has created. Now, obviously, would it help and assist with keeping certain guys on the roster? Absolutely. But is T-Rob also a phenomenal football coach that has SEC ties and has experience being a coordinator in the SEC? Absolutely. So I think it's just a combination of things.
I think it's a lot of rumor and mouth talk. And first of all, as great as Caleb Downs played this year, he can't play the other 10 positions by himself.
Correct.
So it takes 11 to play to make a team sport. So if you lose one man because one coach don't come here, then so mote it be, you go on. But the main thing I'm looking forward to is this hat we're going to get for waiting so long. So when do we pick this hat up you're promising out, Christian? So,
the one that I promised to KJ. I guess I owe you one.
Give Noah Haynes your address. Give him your address.
Yeah, you hit the hour mark too, so I guess I owe you one. So dang it, now I owe two hats. So you hit the hour mark just by 2 minutes. So I'll get you one too, Biscuit.
So do you work out of the Tuscaloosa station down here?
I'm in the studio right now. If you can check us out on our live stream, you see me in the Tuscaloosa
YouTube, you can see watching
studio.
that person.
Yeah, you can
Look,
watch me sit in this fine chair in the Tuscaloosa studio right now.
Look, guys, I love both of you. I'm 67 years old. I have a smartphone, but that's as far as it goes. I don't snap groups. I don't Snapchat. I don't do TweetMe, Venmo, PayPal. When it comes to that, I'm out. Because Ryan Fowler, for 5 years, has been trying to get me. Bruce, you got to get on Twitter, man. Everybody's asking about it. I don't tweet. I don't do none of that. So I just have to meet you at the studio and meet you in person and get my hat person to person.
There you go.
There you go.
Come by here. Go sit in at the studio, Biscuit Bruce.
Yeah, we
guys,
can
I
make
love
it work.
y'all. Yeah, love y'all. I love the show. I'm happy for your promotion and look forward to hearing you for a long, long time.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much, Bruce.
Thank you so much, brother.
Remember this, guys. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide, roll. We with that. We ain't gonna never forget that. That's for sure.
Can't forget that one.
Caleb Williams. It says, okay, he's now entering the NFL draft. He was questioning about now Chicago's gonna have that pick. They want to go to Chicago.
I mean, can people just be happy that they're probably going to be the number one pick? I mean, I get it's a
football turn into.
That's what I'm saying. That's ridiculous. I mean,
all this stuff makes me mad. It pees me off. It does. I mean, what do you mean? What happened to, man? God, just give me a chance. God, I mean, to get to the NFL, you just don't get there. Less than 1%. And we got these knuckleheads. I mean, I don't get it, man. Let's go to the break. We'll be right back. More of your phone calls. Wow.
Trust your trophy mount to the professionals at Hicks Taxidermy in downtown Northport. For over 40 years, West Alabama hunters and fishermen have taken their deer.
I don't know what he's showing. Jahad Campbell. Okay. Looks like Jahad Campbell is sticking with Alabama despite the coaching changes. Good news. I like him, man. He's a good dude off the field, but a really good football player. Very instinctive, great athlete. So pairing him up with Deontay Lawson, who's also coming back, that's big. So I guess he just announced on Twitter about 7 minutes ago that he will be remaining at Alabama. At least his post says Bama for life. So I'd imagine that's indicating he will be here this upcoming season. So it's so weird that we're like securing our roster as if it's like a signing class. It's like, okay, we just quote unquote, it's like, oh, we signed Jahad. Even like these guys are already on campus, but that's the world we live in, man. Again, even I wasn't even here. Just it wasn't even that long ago that I was here. I mean, I could probably count on one hand the guys that transferred in or out the entire time I was here, and I was here 5 years. Right, I redshirted and was here until my redshirt senior year. So this is just different, man. But good to retain Jahad. No, he's doing a promo if you're wondering, guys.
First and I will discuss tomorrow, right here on the Miller's Edge.
He was doing a promo for our show that they play tomorrow. I was wondering what he was doing. Let's see some of these. Rick says, also, can there be some type of organized process for recent former players to sell the program to these guys? Wouldn't Henry, I guess you mean Derrick Henry, Tua, Minka, those guys have an impact? Yeah, I mean, there could be, but I'll be honest, those guys are so busy, man, focused on their game and their careers. I mean, it'd be tough to convince a guy like that to invest time in doing that. But just know that their performances in the NFL sell guys on coming here. Now, it's going to be a little bit different to sell that same vision, given that Coach Saban's not here. But again, I think the quicker that Coach DeBoer can get in here, I think it helps that Coach Saban's still going to be around, but also the quicker Coach DeBoer can get in here and establish himself and his staff and get people familiar with them. And ultimately, if they're able to sustain some of the success again, I don't expect them to fall in Coach Saban's footsteps playing for titles year after year straight off the rip. But if they can have some success soon and establish themselves, I think that will obviously help keep things going. Because Coach Saban obviously is the guy that laid this foundation in recent years. If you're not talking about Bear Bryant, but this program still has a lot of special things to it. The rich tradition. I mean, hell, you got to remember we have other sports that are also very successful too. So that being said, we're about to go back on. We got these calls. I'm gonna try my best to get some of these comments, but here we go. About to go back on there.
This is Miller's Edge on Tide 100.9.
Hey, yo, y'all can't stand right here. In his right hand was your man's worst nightmare.
Miller's Edge, 148 on the dial. Don't forget, today, a doubleheader NFL playoff action continues. The Steelers will take on the Buffalo Bills. That game is in Buffalo. Of course, got pushed back because of the wintry weather, snow. They probably still shoveling. They call it shoveling or shoveling or whatever you call the right word is. That snow and ice. Eagles, Buccaneers also play tonight, 8:15. That game, ABC, ESPN. So we got some NFL football that will continue as a doubleheader on this Monday night. T-Rob is going to stay at Georgia. Who will be the next DC for Bama? We don't know. We'll definitely keep our eye. That's going to be the next big topic of conversation coming up to see who's that guy going to be for Kalen DeBoer. So we'll definitely be talking more about that on the show tomorrow. We'll put our feelers out there, see what we hear, what we know, what we can come up with. It's going to be a ton of names, Christian, as you know, but we'll do our best to kind of look at maybe who may be the best fit. What does Kalen DeBoer need to do in hiring that position? That's going to be crucial when you got a lot of defensive players still on the fence right now for Alabama. One is Caleb Downs, so that's the other big attention getter. What will he do? He hadn't said anything. I know Jahil Campbell just put on X that he's always Crimson Tide, so he's staying. So you got some leaders of the defense that's staying around and going to rock with Kalen DeBoer. What will Caleb Downs do from Georgia? One of the best freshmen in America. What will he do? Will he follow T-Rob? Will he stay? What's the best? I know as fans, we say stay here, stay at Alabama. We know that. But for him, we know money is going to be a big player, something that's driving me nuts with college football right now today. Here's what Alabama need to do real quick. It's our final segment before we move on. But if I'm Alabama, if I'm a booster of Alabama, if I'm even Nick Saban, pay the man. Pay the man. Go ahead and just load up the bank account, give him a Lambo, whatever you got to do. I mean, today he might need one of them G-Wagons with snow coming through and freezing rain. But listen, load this. Don't even wait. If I'm Alabama right now, I know what's happening. Right? You should know. You should know. You should have an ear to what's happening in that line. I'm loading him up with cash. I'm giving him what he needs to drive. Mom and them need a place, a condo right across the street, so they can do the tailgate, walk to, whatever. This is what you have to do, unfortunately, if you want to keep said player. In this case, Caleb Downs. You better go ahead and do it right now. Greg Byrne, if you listen on the show on YouTube or on the Tide 100, listen, brother man, listen to me. Pay the man. If you want to be in the game, pay not just him, pay Bill Rowe, pay everybody you need to pay. Well, because if you give these sharks, these Kirby Smarts, these Sarkisian, Sharkisian, let's call him this, Steve Sharkisian,
like that,
Lane Kiffin, Dan Lanning, these dudes, Florida State, Mike Norvell. If you sit back with your hands in your pockets, you lose. What they say, you snooze, you're going to lose. And if I work with the portal, many of you may not know that if you just hear me say this, not the portal, but I work with collectives and NIL, I understand it. If you sit back with your hands in your pockets and you're not raising the cash that you can pay these dues, you're not going to be competing. You're not going to win any championship.
That's fair, but I would limit it only to guys that I feel. Look, here's my thing. Yeah, I'm not against that. I think you do need to obviously, just like Greg Burns said, you don't have to like it, love it. You could even hate it, but that's not important. What's important is that you adjust and adapt because that's the world we live in. So it doesn't matter your feelings on it. You have to. But here's my thing. A guy like Caleb, he's a good kid. I mean, I wouldn't be opposed, but let's just be honest, man. And I want to try to hurry up so I can get to maybe at least one more call before we get out of here. We only got like 3 or 4 minutes. But look, guys like Nye Black and Bond, look, am I mad at them? No, man. And I hear a bunch of people, even people doing interviews saying, like you can hear their personal feelings. They're frustrated. I'm not going to be mad at guys like that. Like, I'll give you an example. Bond, yeah, he obviously had, reasons. You see the Lambo and you talk about his brand. I mean, it's not like, it's common. Business, listen, people already know that he respects his brand. He's looking at that opportunity. But also, I'm gonna call a spade, man. Playing with a dual threat quarterback and a guy like Jalen Miller who's still kind of working on his vision and seeing the field, getting the ball out and dispersing that. Sometimes receivers can feel like there might be some opportunities elsewhere, and people might not want to hear that. I love Jalen Miller, but that's just a fact. I played with a guy named Jalen Hurts who was known for tucking and running, right? And I'll be honest, there were some rumblings in the locker room at times where some receivers were a little frustrated that the ball wasn't coming their way. So if we're calling a spade and we're being honest here, there is some truth to him probably feeling that he might actually benefit from playing with a guy like Quinn Ewers, having Sarkisian there. I understand,
absolutely,
DeBoer and Grubb coming in, but if he felt that he's going to get more looks and have more opportunities, so be it. If he wanted to chase money, so be it. That's his choice. Now, on the flip side, this is what you guys are going to actually want to hear. If guys want to leave, right? I would rather have a bunch of guys that want to be here, want to play for this brand, want to play at Alabama, these younger guys, these hungry guys, these eager guys. I'd rather have a bunch of them than some of these other guys that might be good football players, but they end up being cancers to your football team because that type of mentality, that selfish mentality, trickles down to the younger players. So if they want to leave, let them leave. You wanted to talk some NFL here. I'll give you about 30 seconds of it. If you guys watched the Rams last night, they have a rookie on their team known as Puka Nacua, right? He's a Polynesian guy drafted like in the 6th round, not the greatest athlete, not the fastest guy, but he works his tail off. And that dude went from like a $180 last night in a touchdown or two. And he's been doing that consistently. One of the best receivers in the NFL because he works his tail off. He's a fundamental guy. He does all the right things. Give me a team full of Pukas, right? Over, the guy that I'm not trying to knock Bond, but like, if that's his mindset, that's great. But I'll take 3 Puka Nacuas over that any day. But I just wanted to say that real quick.
You're spot on.
Yeah,
spot
yeah.
on.
So real quick, we got maybe 2 minutes. Let's get
let's knock them out. Give them 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got about 30
seconds.
seconds. I hate to cut you guys short, but we've had a lot going on in the show. Denon, welcome into the show, man. Appreciate you checking in with the Miller's Edge. Do we still have you? Might have lost, and we'll you can circle back tomorrow for sure, man. I'd love to have you call back. We'll go to Tom. Tom, thanks for patiently waiting. I think you were waiting for a long time, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I wanted to talk about the defense. The last couple of years, I have been so disappointed in the play of our defense that I'd say let all those guys over there on that side of the ball go and start over. We've got talent over there, but our coaching just hadn't been what I think it should be. And here's my case in point. When Coach Saban, on his exit interview with Reese Davis, he was talking to him, he said, this year has been a real energy drain on me because of where we started from and where we ended up.
Right.
It really drained my energy. But he said nothing drained my energy like having to spend more time than I thought I needed to or should with the defensive side of the ball.
Right.
Goodbye, defensive coaches. Kiss our ass and hit the road. Let's get some more over there that can play defensive line. Our defensive line's been pathetic for 3 years.
Well, definitely, yeah. I mean, definitely going to have to get some guys in there, and I definitely, feel that we definitely can play a little bit better in some areas on defense. But Tom, we're running low on time. We got to get out of here and make way for Ryan Fowler, who's making his way into the studio. But appreciate you waiting so patient on the phone lines. We'll make sure that we give you some more time tomorrow. But thank you for everybody calling in, tuning in to our first show with the new schedule, man. Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it, man, for all the support and the listeners, both on YouTube and right here on Tide 100.9. We'll be back again tomorrow at 12 Central Time. Again, you've been listening to the Miller's Edge right here on Tide 100.9, 12:30 a.m. WTVC, and our YouTube channel at the Miller's Edge. We are presented by the Good Feet Store, America's art support experts. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
You've been listening to the Miller's Edge, tackling sports daily.
West Alabama's big old deer hunting
Folks,
contest
all right,
is
that was the
underway.
first show.
Winners are
We're going to
picking
get
up
off of here,
$50 gift
make room
cards
for Ryan
from Texas
Fowler.
Roadhouse.
Appreciate you
And our
guys. We'll be back
winners
again
are
tomorrow
entered into
at
grand
12
prize
Central
competition at the
Time.
end of the season.
Thanks for all
Pick your
support. We'll
big
see you guys
buck over to
tomorrow.
Hicks Taxidermy. The